Hi, everybody. My name is Makenna Seghers. I am here as part of the Multi-Sport Innovations Company. Today, we'll be giving you our business plan, and hopefully you can be a future investor, or at least understand a little bit more about what our company has to offer. Before we get started, I just want to say that this is on a Zoom format. So right here, you can see me, and then you can also see the presentation around me. I'll be moving myself around as much as needed, but I hope that this all works out well. Just gonna minimize me for a second. So here is a video of our short elevator pitch. Hopefully this works. The audio was being a little bit funny earlier, but I will include an attachment just in case it doesn't work. You can look at after. Into the new experience, the multi-sport experience. Youth these days are spending more time scrolling their fingers on their phone than they are pedaling outside on their bikes along their neighborhoods. The Multi-Sport Innovation Company plans to get youth connected again and excited about engaging in community events. By competing in these races, children can expect to gain lots of valuable skills, such as developing social skills, advocating for themselves, and they might also develop better number sense by looking at splits and other number statistics that come along with these events. Ages 6 to 16 can join, but that doesn't stop the whole family from coming together and enjoying a fast day of racing. What classifies itself to be a multi-sport innovations event, and why do we need them? Well, you'll find that out next. All right, give me just 1 second to plug my headphones back in. There we go. All righty, move me down here. So our executive summary, youth these days are a lot less active in their communities and outdoor events. Primarily because of these little things right here, the telephone and video games and stuff like that. But by creating a racing platform to compete multiple times throughout the summer, there's an opportunity to get children more engaged in our community. Multi-Sports Innovations is planning to put on many different events that are well-ran and aimed just for youth. We care about their well-being and safety, but we're also trying to promote a fun sense of camaraderie and just a nice racing environment that they can want to come back to every racing opportunity they can. Racers' ages will range from ages 6 to 16, so parents will have to sign up on their kids racing because they are minors. We expect that with the strategies that Multi-Sport Innovations has developed for the company will be able to be lively and draw potential interns, employees, racers, and sponsors. Each who hold a lot of value to our company. The company aims to make a positive impact in the community, all while turning a profit and making revenue that allows the company to grow and experiment, but also pay its employees a living salary. So our prospective events, let me move me down here. So we'll primarily have the triathlon, which is a swim, bike, run format, and the duathlon, which is a run, bike, run format. But we're not limited with the equipment that we will have. We're not limited to doing an aquathon, which is a swim run, aqua bike, like a kayak bike run, or even though they're not multi-sport events, a swim, a bike, or a run, just individual. Each race is designed to make sure that children are being challenged who are there to race, but also maintaining safety. So throw me up here in this corner now. So you can see with the duathlon, we have age brackets from 6 to 18, 9 to 11, and 12 to 16. And then each one of those has a different distance, and same with the triathlon. So the difference is that the duathlon has a run first, the triathlon has a swim first. So that is just like a prospective event distance, type, and age breakup. So who are we targeting? How are they benefiting? That's really important for us. Our sponsors are going to be our main source of revenue. They help really kick off the event. So they're going to be some of our upfront costs that they'll help cover, as well as like city costs. So renting the parks, closing down the roads, having ambulance and staff like that, EMTs there. So we're going to have to make sure that we really target them. We'll have different levels of sponsorships. And then in these levels, sponsors will receive different, not priorities, but different amounts of recognition they receive during the race. And they kind of, depending on how much help they help us with, we're going to make sure that we promote them a little bit more. And what they're receiving from this is they're receiving advertising and promotion. And hopefully, if the sponsors are something that align closely with our mission, the same people who are racing at our event will also be interested in what they have to promote. Second is parents and guardians, because the children are the ones racing, but the parents and guardians are the ones signing up and spending money on the race. They're the ones that have to sign the waivers because everyone will be a minor that's racing. They can also be a really great source of volunteers. Parents want to make sure their kids are having the safest, most fun course out there. And in order to do that, we need a lot of volunteers. And so they also can be a source of volunteers as well as the people who sign up the children. And also they're able to get out there that day, watch the children succeed, give them a challenge, get the family out there doing something different than normal. And it gets their children out socializing off tablets and phones, which is great. But we're targeting them because they are primarily who's going to get the kids to the races. But also we do need the youth ages 6 to 16. These racers are the ones who primarily, they choose if we have a race or not. And they also have a great influence on if they come back or not. If they had the best day ever and they tell their parents that, the parents are going to want to continue to sign them up. But if the kids are miserable out there, they're not going to come back. And also in today's world, kids can talk, and talking and social media and stuff like that really promotes the company or can get the company closed down. So we just want to make sure we are targeting them. And what they're receiving on this day is they're going to meet new people, have a new experience, and just enjoy their time. And they're also developing healthy lifestyle habits, which they can carry throughout the rest of their lives. So customer relationships, one of the things we are hoping for a sponsor that we can get is a professional photographer to capture the moment. And hopefully through their sponsorship, if it's worked out correctly, the photo company will give the photos for free or very cheap. And they're able to display their photography skills, and hopefully families will use their services later on for their family photography needs. But also, and you'll see this in a few other slides after, is advertising. Photos are free advertising or cheap advertising for us. If we can get the photographer in the right areas where the fencing has our logo on it, stuff like that. When parents post those on Facebook or Instagram or talk about them or show their friends, that is free advertising. It's advertising promoting our company because the little kid is looking adorable in it. Also Facebook memories that pops up. You're like, wow, I forgot we did that last year. Let's sign the kids up. So photos are very important for our customer relationships. Makes them happy because they're getting really cool photos to preserve the memories, but it's making us happy because we're able as a business to use that for our own benefit. We're also going to be getting Google surveys or some sort of survey after that the kids and adults can give us feedback on. And that helps us, but it also helps them. They feel like they're having an impact on how the race is going to be ran in the future, which it is. And therefore, they're going to have a better experience every single time they come back. We're going to give out swag bags to our volunteers and racers to just excite them. And again, swag is another way to promote our company. Develop and continue to run small programs and help multi-sport athletes feel more comfortable. So we're going to push out videos that basically are newbie videos to make sure the newbies and children who are not fully comfortable or know what's going on have a little sense of that. And we're going to coordinate with their sponsorships to help allow their help them bring their business in and have us help them as much as we can. So we're going to let them put things in our swag bags. We have coupons. That's perfect. Depending on the level of sponsorship that they buy into, we'll let them voice over the microphone. We'll give them promotion throughout the day over the PA system. And then we're going to ask them for guidance as well. If they have any great ideas, we want to make sure we implement those into our racing. So if they have something grand that would fall in line with what we think we could do, perfect. Ethical standards is another one that really plays an important role. So first and foremost, anti-racist. We're not going to be scoring any race or ethnicity better or worse, depending on the color of their skin or where they are from, than the just time that is clocked when they come through the race finishing chute. Racers will be not lined up in a different order depending on their race or ethnicity. It's all at random. And no racist remarks will be allowed or tolerated or accepted from anyone competing, participating, working, or watching the event. So basically, if you're at the event, no racist remarks. And if there is, that'll be dealt with on a case-by-case basis. But we hope we don't have to deal with that, but it is our most important that everybody feels welcome at the race. During the award ceremony, females and males will be separated and scored separately. Well, not separated, but they'll be scored separately. And age groups will also be broken up. Medals will make sure that they're out of a safe material, so like not lead or anything that's going to like hurt somebody because it's too sharp or whatever that might be. We're just going to make sure that the medals are safe. And on that note, safety is a huge priority of ours. USA Triathlon insurance is going to be purchased. That can make the races a little bit more expensive, but that way the race does have insurance if anything was to happen. We're going to use type 3 barricades to block main road entrances, as well as any other barricades such as cones, flaggers, just signs that say, hey, there's a race going on, for any other parts of the park or places that need to be barricaded off. Large amounts of volunteers who are well marked, who know the course, are also going to be put out on the course to help maintain safety. The location we're looking for is around a middle or higher class location, just because triathlon is a little bit more of an expensive sport. But that being said, if an underprivileged family wants to race, we'll try to work something out with them. So for our first year, I know we'll probably be looking a lot for volunteers. And so if they just can't afford the race entry, maybe we'll say, if you can find us 2 volunteers, maybe it's just the husband and wife or something, the brother of the brother racing, something like that, where they can supply 2 volunteers, we'll give them a free race entry. So we do want to make sure that we are helping everybody we can in the community, and not just serving to just one class. And then lastly, on the microphone and announcing, we're making sure that there's no cussing, no political statements or religious views or anything like that that could cause somebody to feel offended or upset. And we're going to play clean versions of different songs that are being played over the announcing system. So when we had created our 5-force metric system, we definitely had a clear winner that the bargaining power of buyers is the most important to us and is the highest threat to our industry. And so that means that we really do need those sponsors and racers in order to have a race. And that's really important to us, but also it's threatening. If we don't have buyers or race entries and sponsors, we really cannot run a race. Let's find, we'll sit here for a second. So how are people going to know about this? What channels are we getting this out to them? So first of all, we're going to have an online webpage so that that is easily navigable, easy to navigate. There we go. Where racers can sign up, and there's race venue information, frequently asked questions, anything you would ever want to need or know about the race will be on there, as well as a contact page. So if there isn't something that is on there, you can get a hold of us. We're also going to have Facebook and Instagram pages. This is another quicker way to keep athletes and parents, especially parents, because most 6-year-olds don't have Facebook, up to date. And if there's any ring delays or anything like that, that will be shot through Facebook and Instagram. We're also going to be running Facebook and Instagram advertisements. And we're going to try and connect with a local TV station to run a news story, which is really not that difficult. It's as easy as sending a few emails to the local news station and asking them about it. So print and in person, we're going to have newspapers, or we're going to get things put out into the newspapers, magazines. We're also going to give flyers to the local schools, businesses, and then our sponsorship locations will hopefully have some sort of flyer or thing to say, hey, look at us. We are a sponsorship of this race. You guys should all go. And then in schools, we're going to hopefully send out emails, which I do understand is an online channel, but we're going to go to the schools and talk to them and stuff like that in order to get those out. Excuse me. And then hopefully we'll be able and granted permission to give a presentation at the school in order to excite the kiddos, get them ready, hopefully going home saying, hey, mom, hey, dad, this is really what I'd like to go do this summer. But if we can't, hopefully we would be granted permission to do like a video instead of in person. And then, so our projected cost structures and revenue streams. So right now we don't have the full projected cost, but we do have the cost of some of our competitors' pricings. and what we will be pricing. And our main revenue stream is going to be our sponsors, like had been stated previously, with different levels of support. And through those different levels of support, it's going to allow them different amounts of promotion from us. Give me just 1 second. I'm really sorry about that. Somebody just walked into the room I was recording in. So we were just talking about the sponsorships. So sponsors are going to be the main revenue stream, and they're going to get different levels of support, which allows them to get more, hopefully, support back to their company as well. And then we talked about the competitors' pricing. So there's a kids race back home where I live in Missouri. It's the Newtowns Kids Race. It starts at $45 and goes up to $55. And then there's the USA Triathlon Youth Race Age Group Nationals, which is in Ohio. And it is $55 to $69. And there's another local race in Missouri, which I would say is not the best put on race, but it is a kids race that we have pricing for, and that is $33 to $45. Below is also Rip Roar's Kids Triathlon, which I would say is probably going to be one of our biggest competitors, but they do not currently have their pricing put up for 2021, and they have it taken down from the 2020 season. So when we get that information, we will make sure to get that back to you guys. So right now, from the information we've gathered, we have decided that our starting price for our kids race will probably be around $40, and our finishing price, or like the end tier, is going to be about $55. And so our pricing structure is going to be a little bit different than a normal pricing structure. Ours is going to be the first amount of people, so say 25 people, just for an example, that sign up will be paying $40. Once we hit the cap of 25, it rolls to the tier 2. And so say 35 people can sign up in tier 2, which is $45. And once you hit the cap of that, it rolls up to the next one. And it keeps rolling up tiers until we hit the $55 tier. And then from there, there's no more cap offs. It's just $55 to race. So who do we plan to be? Multisport Innovations plans to be an LLC. Originally, we thought about just being a partnership, but the more we looked into it, an LLC seems to fit our future plans and goals the best. So we found out that there is a little bit more liability coverage. So our business is going to be separate from the people who are managing or operating the business. And unlike a corporation or anything like that, the taxation, just because we are a separate entity, is not doubled or anything wonky like that. Even though we are an LLC, we are still looking for a partnership, just because we believe that in Multisport Innovations, if we have a partnership, we're able to delegate some of that work. So maybe somebody is working on the communication marketing side of it, while the other person is working on the city hall aspect, getting the parks rented, the ambulance and EMTs out there, getting all of that scheduled. So we think that delegating the work is a big important part of a partnership that is valuable to it, and also making the best decisions, having somebody to throw ideas back and forth to and say, hey, is this crazy? Or somebody being like, I think that sounds great, but what if we did this on top of it to elevate our company? And I think putting two brains together is better than one, and it helps elevate the company and the racers' experiences. So our unique selling proposition is that we're only catering to youth sporting events. A lot of youth triathlons are the day after an adult triathlon, or even a few hours after an adult triathlon. Whoa. I think my internet just disconnected there for a second. Get back to our page. Here we go. Let me make sure we're still sharing. All right, we are still sharing. Sorry about that. I do not know. I didn't click anything. So our unique selling proposition that we only cater to youth sporting events. A lot of triathlons, youth triathlons, happen either a few hours after or the day after, the day before an adult triathlon. And so really they just kind of get overlooked. There's not enough support. There's not enough volunteers. They're thrown together. And so by making it just primarily youth, we're able to give them the best experience possible. And then also we're going to have some sort of lifestyle saying, that hopefully follows these kids throughout their life, that the company breeds. So something about healthy living and community engagement. We're going to figure out some slogan that kind of helps push that and promote that and give kids like a, hey, I should be doing that type of attitude. And then we also, like I just explained a little bit ago, we have the different than most race entry purchase style. So most race entries are up until X date, it's this price, and then this date, it's this price, and then up until the day of the race, it's the highest price. And then we're also going to have a refer a friend incentive. This is going to help us to get more people at our race, and that might be you get a free swag that says, you know, Race Innovations Youth triathlon event, or it might be a voucher for your next triathlon or multi-sport innovations race for $5 off, something similar to that. And then we also mentioned the cheap or free race photos. Could we purchase a business? The answer is yes. There are a few things to consider though when we are talking about purchasing a business. Do they have a following, and is their following positive and spread the same message that we plan to? Because if they do, they would help us substantially in having to spend less money in marketing cost, and that way we can focus more on the race being put together properly. Customer relationships, again, do they have good customer relationships, or is this some company that's just blown up and they're just trying to get rid of it now because something went wrong? Do they have equipment? So in these photos over here that I am currently sitting on top of, I'm gonna throw me down here. You can see how much equipment there is in just these 3 photos alone. There's fencing, there's the big buoys that are for the water, the barricades. There's a lot that goes into these races. And if they have the equipment, that's great for us. And where are they located? We want to make sure that the location is somewhere ideal where we think that there's a market. What were their previous goals? Are their goals to spread similar missions as ours? You know, healthy lifestyle, getting kids active, healthy, enjoying their summers off of their phones, things like that. And do they have good sponsorship relationships? Because if they do, that'd be great for us, because again, less work having to market and sell ourselves out there, and we can really focus on the race being the best it can be. And also, are they geared towards just one type of race or a lot of races? Children's, adults, triathlons, just runs, just swims, duathlons. There's so many different types of race events. And so we just want to make sure that those line up with what we also are hoping to plan and put on. And down here, I highlighted in red Rip Roar events. So right now, I think the only one business that we would consider purchasing or trying to purchase is Rip Roar Triathlons, which is these and the photos right here, the 3. Thank you, Archie Trujillo, for those photos. I think this because I have previously actually interned for them, and they really do have the message, the following, the equipment to put everything on. And I think purchasing their business would actually help make more profit. Would we sell a franchise? I do not think right now I would want to sell personally this business, is because that's where my heart is at, and I hope whoever joins with us also has a heart kind of in the youth and multi-sport events category. Someday when it's time to retire, or I'm feeling like moving on from this, then yes, then it would be time to sell. But it's not something I hope to build up and then sell off right away. But also, if there is something like life altering we think might happen, say start of a pandemic, sure, we could try and sell it then. And franchising, while I don't think it's an impossible thing to do, I don't think Multi-Sport Innovations is really interested in pursuing that. And also, if there is any franchising opportunities that we could buy into, I also don't think we are interested in being a franchisee, just because it limits our freedom and our ability to spread what the messages we want to, and put on races how we would like to put them on. So here's where I would ask, does anybody have any questions about the Multi-Sport Innovations Race Company? But obviously this is through Zoom this year because COVID, we love that. And so I just encourage you, if you do have any questions or felt like I missed anything, if you just shoot me an email and I'd be happy to help answer those. So have a nice day. I have to figure out how to stop sharing. Stop.